What's up? What's up? This is Zach Boschman checking in. You're watching the Citizen Truth podcast, and we are honored today to have Raed, the outreach coordinator from We Are Not Numbers, based in Gaza, here on the podcast. Raed, let's get right into it. What does this ceasefire mean for the people of Gaza and the people throughout Palestine?
Okay, hi. First, thank you so much for having me on your podcast. It's a pleasure. And thank you so much for amplifying Palestinian voices, especially from Gaza. Ceasefire. Wow, that's a word that we've been waiting for like for days, but those days felt like years. Obviously, ceasefire means no people, like no more people are gonna be killed, no more people are gonna be injured, no more people are gonna be evicted, no more people are gonna be frightened, no more buildings are be bombed. Like it's supposed to mean that there are gonna be less of the Israeli warplanes and drones in our skies, but unfortunately that's not the case. They're still in our sky, like even till now, as I'm talking to you. The word ceasefire brought like happiness to us, to our hearts. I feel like even though this attack on Gaza lasted for 10 days, but those 10 days, 11 days, I mean, those 11 days felt like 11 years. I was working so hard, and I know a lot of people were going through a lot, especially psychologically. And a lot of people actually admitted it. This is the first attack on Gaza that, or in which they feel so scared for their lives, especially that targets were random and targets were towards civilians, innocent civilians, and we're talking about apartments and homes and all of that. So a lot of people felt like, wow, like we survived. This is just another attack and we survived it. Even though a lot of people are really heartbroken because they lost their beloved ones, a lot of people died or actually got killed, to be more specific, but still. And as for the rest of Palestine, yeah, of course, like during this attack on Gaza, everyone saw how fierce this attack was. And we, the people in Gaza, we documented everything in photos and videos, and we used social media and we used hashtags, and we've got all this kind of like documentation for not only our people in Palestine, but for the entire world to see. So when you think about, oh my God, all of that is gonna stop now, that's gotta make you happy, even for you, like as a human being, other people are not gonna be killed at this point. So yeah, that's gonna make me really, really happy. So yeah, this is what ceasefire. It felt like Eid. I could talk about this for a bit because this attack on Gaza started at the end of Ramadan, and then we had Eid. We had Eid under attack, and unfortunately, this is the second Eid that I personally witnessed. When we say Eid Shaheed, it means like Eid is a murder, like Eid is being killed, and after the ceasefire, our mosques here were playing these sounds. In Islam, we call them takbirs. It's like, yeah, yeah, Allahu Akbar. It's a takbir, and when people hear that, they feel cheerful. So a lot of people actually were celebrating Eid when the 11-day attack on Gaza ended. So it felt like Eid. It felt joyful. Yeah, it felt great that this is gonna end.
I'm so glad that the bombs have stopped dropping. I watched you on a live with Loki a couple days ago, and we heard some bombs drop in the background. Um, so just for the people here in America and stuff that are listening, what is it like when you're being attacked and living in Gaza, not knowing where that next bomb might drop? Just take us into your experience a little bit the last couple weeks, if you don't mind.
Yeah, definitely. So basically, again, this is not our first war. This is not our first attack, unfortunately. So we get some experience from the previous attacks on Gaza. I remember my first attack on Gaza. It was in 2008. I was in elementary school. I was in the sixth grade, and I was at school. I was about to have a final exam, And then out of nowhere, that was the first time in my life that I heard those huge bombardments, warplanes are just attacking our city. And I remember how we all freaked out. We were like so young, and the teachers didn't know what to do, the headmaster didn't know what to do. So that was like our first experience. And you just hear those explosions, and you don't know what's going on. You don't know where to go. You don't know where you're supposed to be. And it's very important to let the people who are listening to this podcast know that Gaza doesn't have any kind of shelters, like we don't. Even though we always get attacked, like it's like a thing here, like every year we gotta get attacked at least once, So from time to time we have a round, from time to time we have a battle, from time to time we have war. And when you hear those explosions, of course, like your heart's gonna be like you're gonna get some heartache, like heartache. It's gonna hurt you. Your heart's gonna be beating like crazy, and your mind's gonna freeze for a moment because you're trying to understand what is happening. Later on, like when after we've been having those other attacks on Gaza, we started to have experience. So right now for me, I'm 23. Okay. Whenever I hear the bombardments, I do feel scared. I feel terrified. But year after year, I don't feel terrified for myself. I start to feel terrified for my people, like for my younger siblings. I have a young sister who usually would be knocking on my door during this war, like every day, whenever they bomb us. She's like 10 or 11 years old. Like I feel like I'm more mature now, so I always think about like, oh my god, what if they bomb us? Like what if they bomb our apartment? Because that happened a lot, and a lot of people got killed, and a lot of people lost their homes. And whenever I think about it, I'm like I can't even think about that. So I remember during this war, a lot of people ask me like, what is the difference between this attack on Gaza and the previous attacks?
Hmm.
And I think during this attack, not only were they attacking civilians, like that means to be like bombing apartments, like buildings in neighborhoods. And by the way, when I was live with Loki, they bombed a place in my neighborhood. The voice of the explosion, like the sound, it was so loud,
Yeah.
and people heard it live. Even though I'm using this headphone right here, this microphone has some cancellation. So usually, whenever there's like performance nearby, people don't always hear that, but that was so close. It hit so hard, and a lot of people freaked out. They were like, oh my god, right, like I freaked out while I'm like live with you. Like I can't imagine how you felt when you were like there. So yeah, that was like super super close. It was in my neighborhood. And I remember, like, yeah, as you saw when I was going live, I had to get up. The first thing I do is I would check like how far is that. Like I knew it was so close, but I need to understand the situation because sometimes, or actually most of the time, we don't get warned. There's no warning. These strikes come out of nowhere, and that's how over 230 Palestinians were killed during this attack on Gaza. So yeah, I had to open the window. I had to check in. There was smoke. Unfortunately, I couldn't take that on camera because it was night, and of course we had no power.
That must have
Um,
made it that much more horrifying having it come in at nighttime where you can't really necessarily see where it's landing, right?
exactly, yeah, but you need to know that this is the case almost 24/7. Like in war, when we get power for 3 to 4 hours. 4 hours a day, maximum. So we're used to the fact that we don't have power most of the time. So like whenever we have power, we try to, for instance, charge our devices, charge our power banks, and all that. But yeah, when it is really dark, and when they bomb us, and like the sky turns blue, and not blue, I mean yellow or red, because of the explosions. And it feels like, how it's like in winter, and the sky could brighten up while it's raining. It's exactly like that. It is raining bombardments on us, and you would be looking at the sky, it's red and yellow, and that's really scary. So this is really sad. Yeah, this is really sad for me to talk about this. But at the same time, I think, as I told you, like from experience, we start to get used to it. And not only that, but we're starting to use tricks, especially to deal with children who get frightened the most. Like we would tell them like, hey, look at this. This is fireworks. Like, hey, look how beautiful this is. Even though we know like this strike is going down there to kill a Palestinian, but still there is nothing we can do about that. It's going down either way. So we try to get the young people here to think like this is not a very bad thing. This is just some lights, like Christmas lights in the sky. So for you to be living under attack, you have to like get used to the fact that you could be bombed at any moment. This is something that you have to accept. Just like you accept the fact that one day you're gonna be done, like you're gonna be killed or not killed, you're gonna be dead. This is something here, and you have to train your heart. This is what a person would do. Like I would be literally working on my laptop, okay, and I would be like train my heart that if you hear any bombardments, don't freak out because it's war. It's war on us. And there is a side that I always mention whenever I talk to people about this is that the fact that when we are asleep, like at night, we don't sleep actually, like we'll be laying, and the entire Gaza Strip would be up all night because it would be super, super bad if you are asleep and a bombardment takes place near you. At the beginning of the war or the attack, the Israeli planes would be bombing us really late. First, it started in Ramadan. They would be bombing us whenever family gathers together on one meal, which is iftar. When we together to break our fasting,
Mhm.
and they would like bomb us by then or at like 4 a.m. when we have another meal, suhoor, when people gather so that they would eat together and to start fasting. But then there was Eid, and then after Eid, they would be like bombing us first at midnight. So people started to stay up all night long. They'd be bombing us at 12, 1 to 3 a.m. And that's when we'd be awake. That's like they would be bumping us all day long, but that's when they bump us like intensively. So we start to stay up late, and then they were like, "Oh, okay, so you are up. Okay, we're gonna wait for you to go to sleep, and then we're gonna be bumping you guys." So they start to bomb us at like 4, 5, 6 after we've been up all night long, and we're so tired. That's when we
Uh,
want to sleep. So yeah, and there is one day that I will never forget. I slept at 5 a.m. And of course, I've been working all day long, and all night I'm just up checking the news. And at 6:30 a.m., something like that, they brought these like new warplanes. They're called like the F-36, and they bombed the entire Gaza Strip all at once. So like the entire Gaza Strip had to wake up, and the sense of these explosions they were like higher than ever. Like they're scarier than ever, and they were like closer than ever. I read about those, and I read something on the news that says like they would be targeting us, like they wouldn't be like literally in our sky targeting us, like they would be like over the West Bank, and they'd be like targeting us from there, and their rockets that would be like super super fast, and they when they hit Gaza they would make like these insane explosions. I got up, and to be honest, I was super super scared. I tried to understand what is happening. I've just slept for like an hour or hour and a half. I just kept explosions, and my door was just smacking the wall, and it felt like the doors of my closet they were like just moving. Of course, we
wow,
keep our
from the explosions, they were moving themselves.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Whenever we have explosions, like I live in a building, I live on the fourth floor, so like the building would be shaking, and I would be like sitting on my bed, and I would feel my bed, it's like shaking, it's moving, or on a chair, or on a couch, or whatever, like I can feel that. So, but I'm talking specifically about the day because like it was a brand new experience for me. Even though I always say I'm experienced when it comes to wars. So I tried to get up. I grabbed my phone because this is what we do. We try and document what is happening. But the sensitive explosions were too strong to the fact that actually I couldn't even record a video or do anything. I couldn't get anywhere near the windows because it felt like something is gonna hit me. Something is gonna just be just running towards me, and it felt super super dangerous. That lasted for like 10 to 15 minutes continuously, like non-stop. And then after that, of course, I couldn't go back to sleep. My heart was beating like crazy. And I was watching videos online, and a lot of people were talking about like how the entire Gaza Strip, like they were all the Gaza from the south to the north, all of it, all at once. So I felt like that was a move from them just to hit Gaza strong hit. And what's crazy is that, as I told you, it was 6:30 a.m. and the sun was rising, you know. And usually when the sun rises here, the view is so beautiful. But then the sky was full of smoke. I'm talking about black smoke, you know. So it didn't feel like it was 6:30 a.m. It felt like it was winter. It felt like the sky is full of clouds, dark clouds. But that wasn't clouds, that was smoke. And of course, from time to time, they bomb us like super super hard. To be honest, I live in the south, you know, southern the Gaza Strip, and they haven't bombed us as much as they were bombing in the north, because in northern the Gaza Strip and in Gaza City, those places get bombed like crazy, like non-stop. They would be bombing them for hours non-stop. I've got so many friends who live there. I was working social media and I was working in outreach, and people like imagine like how are you supposed to be working there? Like I'm talking about my team, and they're like under those like continuous non-stop attacks, and they would be sending me like voice notes, and I'm like, yeah, this happened here I think only once in my city, you know, like the continuous thing. But there, I don't know, like I think that was like some new strategy from the Israeli occupation and their army. Like I don't get it, but they were claiming that they're like trying to attack like some tunnels and whatsoever. But all of us know like it's not like that. Like I think just because they don't have a clear objective, they don't have a clear aim for attack on Gaza. So they were like basically trying so many things. Like they were targeting buildings in Gaza just because they don't know what to target, you know. And by the way, I read in the news that one of the pilots of their warplanes, he just made a confession to the Israeli channel number 12, I guess, that they were bombing the buildings and the towers in Gaza because they were just so angry at Gaza. They were so pissed off, and they felt like that's how we're gonna be punishing Gaza. Like let's evacuate hundreds of people. By the
Yeah.
way, the UN reported that about 50,000 Palestinians had to evict their homes, especially
Wow.
those. Yeah, that's a huge number. That's a
Is
huge
that just
number.
from the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Wow.
And yeah, we're talking about 11 days. We're talking about, by the way, my sister was one of those people who had to leave their home. You know, like, thank God I didn't have to leave my home, but my sister had to evacuate. And do you know like how scary it is to know like, wow, my sister is not at home and she's staying like with other people at the moment. Of course, the entire Gaza Strip is really paralyzed. Like there is really nothing we can do about that. And those 50,000 people were running, like they were going to places. Like they would be either going to their relative places or they would be going to the UN schools. And
Mhm.
in this case, they go to the UN schools as if the UN schools are shelters, even though they're just schools. Like I went there 2015 and I witnessed it. Like these are schools. Like they have classrooms, they have desks, they have, you know, like they're just schools. They're not built to be shelters. Like they
Yeah.
don't qualify for people to live in there. And I remember I got in there and I saw a lot of people. They were sleeping everywhere. They were sleeping on the floor. They were sleeping on the desks. They were sleeping. And I remember I got into this one classroom and there were like over 50 people in there. And it was super crowded. But where are people supposed to go? And usually the men would be like sleeping outside on the floor, you know, in the schoolyard. and they would be like children and women. They'll be sleeping indoors, like in the classrooms.
Yeah.
and, and that's really insane. I remember, but I'm saying this because back then, my brother had a call from one of his friends, and he had to evacuate, and he needed help. So basically, we were helping with blankets, we were helping with canned food, we were helping with clothes, stuff like that. Because when you evacuate your home, you don't have time to take anything.
Hmm.
You just evacuate because safety comes first. You know, and I remember I went there and I was holding things with my brother. And when I saw all of that, I was in shock. And by the way, this is an ongoing Nakba. Like last week was the anniversary of Nakba, the Palestinian catastrophe in 1948. A lot of people were coming to us in minute numbers, specifically to me, and they were like, Raed, please tell us a little bit about the Palestinian Nakba. And I'm like, why should I talk about the one that took place in 1948 while I can
Yeah.
talk about the ongoing one? I mean,
The one that's
the years
happening right
20,
now.
exactly, the year's 2021. And as you can see, if you take a look, like, how did all of this start in the first place? Huh? Talking about Sheikh Al Jarrah neighborhood in Jerusalem. This is a neighborhood of Palestinians. Palestinians are living in there. The Israeli government, I mean the occupation and their government, they're trying to take all these homes and give them to settlers. Why is that? They have no excuse. They just want to take the place. The Sheikh Al Jarrah neighborhood is a neighborhood that connects like Palestinians to Al Aqsa Mosque. So basically, the occupation doesn't want Palestinians to have access to Al Aqsa Mosque, and they've been attacking worshippers at Al Aqsa Mosque even after the ceasefire. By the way, like we had the ceasefire at 2 a.m. here, and in the very next morning, they were attacking Palestinian worshippers at Al Aqsa Mosque, which is a violation of the ceasefire. Anyways, so basically they started to get people out of their home. And this is an Akba. And the people are just like the Palestinians are just citizens. They live under the occupation. They always get attacked. They always get shocked. They always get arrested, just like the case in the West Bank, just like the case in the occupied lands. In Gaza, as you know, we live under the Israeli blockade. So basically, the Israeli soldiers can't enter Gaza
Hmm.
unless there is an invasion. So like we don't get attacked and arrested now because we live under the blockade. But for people in the West Bank, in the occupied lands, in Jerusalem, so people in Jerusalem, they were like protesting and they were demanding that this ends, and they were chanting for Gaza to get involved. They were chanting in Arabic, Mshan Allah, Ya Gaza, Ya Allah, which means for God's sake, come on, Gaza, come on. And Gaza, I mean Gaza, like it had to take action. So what Gaza did is that Gaza sent warnings to the occupation that you've got to stop now. Don't
Hmm.
evacuate these people. Don't kick them out of their homes. And they were doing that like during the month of Ramadan, and Eid as well. And they try to use the month of Ramadan, which is the holy month for us Muslims. Most of Palestinians are Muslims. They would be like using that month to actually provoke us, like by attacking us while we're praying at Al Aqsa, and by like bombing us, and by shooting us, and by arresting us, and by doing whatever it takes to just ruin it for us. Of course, the Israeli occupation didn't listen, and they were like, "Oh, it's like none of your business." But the way they act actually is like it's none of your goddamn business. You just stay out of it. Gaza couldn't stay out of it, and that's when it all started. So Gaza took action. Personally, I was so happy to see that Gaza's taking action. This is the first time that Gaza takes action for Jerusalem. I'm so happy that when Jerusalem was asking for aid, it wasn't asking for anyone else but Gaza. Because for instance, if Jerusalem was asking the U.S. for aid, the US wouldn't do anything about it. The UK wouldn't do anything about it. The entire European countries wouldn't do anything about it.
Hmm.
But even if I want to talk about like Islamic countries or Arab countries, they wouldn't do anything about it. So like Gaza, the only one who actually was responsive for that aid request. And yes, Gaza got dragged into this attack. And this attack, as I told you, uh, I didn't tell you this, but yeah, it started out of nowhere. Personally, I was expecting it to last for like a day or two or three maximum, because usually, yes, this is how it goes here.
Hmm.
Three, four, from 2 to 4 days, and then it ends. But no, this time it got more vicious than ever. Israel warplanes are bombing like crazy, and they're killing civilians, children. I'm talking about the children. If you have seen those photos and videos of so many people, especially children, talking about over 60 child over here, like over 60 children who were murdered. They were literally dragged from under the rubble, and a lot of them were under the rubble for hours. It got really insane, and that's when I started to realize, like, oh my God, like this is turning to vicious attack on Gaza. This is not just 2, 3 rounds, like they're gonna be bombing some military sites in Gaza and then that's it. No, they're taking down towers, they're taking down buildings. They're literally striking apartments, like an apartment in a building, they would just bomb it, and people will die there, and they massacred entire families. Like they would kill an entire family. Like that's crazy. Like this is exactly like the 2014 war on Gaza, but this one is more vicious in a much shorter time. I mean, the one 2014 lasted 51 days. Can
Hmm.
you imagine that? For almost 2 months we were under attack. But this time it's like they went straight to the next level, like no mercy at all, like totally inhumane, and they didn't care. And what's crazier is that they've been denying all of their actions. Like they would be dying, like, no, we don't kill children, no, we don't kill families. But we in Gaza, as I told you, and I think this is the first time that I witnessed this for many reasons. Um, First, right now we are not numbers. We are not numbers was created after 2014 war on
Yeah,
Gaza.
give the people a little background on what We Are Not Numbers does, if you don't mind.
Yeah, definitely. So basically, We Are Not Numbers is a project in Gaza in which we use storytelling and citizen journalism to try news to, narrate the Palestinian narrative, because we always feel like Palestinian the Palestinians are being attacked on so many levels. One of them is our culture and our history and our traditions, and a lot of things from our identity are being stolen. Like like simple things, like when it comes to food, like hummus. Hummus is Palestinian. The Israeli occupation stole it, and they're like, "Oh, this is Israeli hummus." No, this is Palestinian hummus. So we started to work with a lot of use. The beginning of We Are Not Numbers started um, 2015. Basically, there is this guy. His name is Ahmed al. Ahmed lost his brother in 2014 around Gaza. Ahmed was talking to this American journalist. Her name is Pam Bailey. And Pam encouraged Ahmed to write the story of his brother. And she was like, whenever it comes to Gaza, people always talk about statistics, they talk about numbers. But actually, we don't know the stories of these people. Like, who are these people who got killed? So Ahmed wrote his first story, and he wrote the story of his brother, and then we and numbers started to come like into exist. Like Pam started to train some Palestinian young kids, talking about like youth students, and they started to teach them about writing, teach them about storytelling, and we really needed that because here, like as I told you, Gaza's under the blockade, and we don't get to have like international trainers or teachers or whatever. And language, like the English language, isn't our first language. So basically, we have to learn it. And a lot of people here don't have enough experiences to be even qualified to teach about writing and storytelling. And basically, we at numbers. Pam like co-founded We Numbers, and more youth are started to get involved in We Numbers. And there we are. Like it was founded in 2015. Right now, the year is 2021. And right now, like I am the outreach coordinator for One Numbers. I'm so proud to be the outreach coordinator. During the 11 days attack on Gaza, I've coordinated over 60 interviews for youth here in Gaza to take action. And as I was telling you, this is the first time that I feel like we youth are being involved. Like we are going live. We are going like live streams on Facebook, on Instagram, and other platforms. We are talking to people in magazines and journals, agencies, new agencies. We're doing these interviews, and that was like a massive movement that I witnessed, you know. And a lot of people, like we've been given trainings for years now, and personally I received all those transitions that qualify me to talk to you people about what is happening here. And of course we try to amplify as many Palestinian voices as possible. As I told that, like I was coordinating all of that, and to be honest, I still am coordinating that. Right now, I still get a lot of emails. People want to hear from us about what is Gaza like after the war, after the ceasefire, and all of that. So basically, I try to engage as many as possible in so many ways: written, audible, visual, and they were like telling different stories. Like if you want to talk about, for instance, what happened in Sheikh Al Jarrah, the story is like one story, but they were talking about their personal perspectives, which is something unique. And I'm so proud to say that we taught these people how to use social media. We taught those people how to use the right hashtags. So basically, everyone was going with two hashtags, two main hashtags. The first one that is concerned to Gaza is Gaza under attack. Like that's it. And the other one, it's related to Jerusalem, save Sheikh Al Jarrah. So basically, when the like when all Palestinians are using the same hashtags, we changed our profile pictures to red, red for Palestine. People, especially our foreign friends on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, they start to like see a lot of people are changing their profile pictures to red. So like people would get curious and they'll be like, why red? Well, what is going on? Is there like a problem here? We're like, yes, this is the point of changing all of that. So we managed to attract like everyone's attention, especially the entire world, and a lot of people in Vienna numbers are like they worked so hard and so great, and they were like great representatives that I'm so proud of. But in genuinely talking, we have a community of over 100 member, and everyone would be using like for instance their smartphones. So right now whenever I see action I take action. Okay, I would do my best to document those in photos and videos, and I'll be using records like voice or sound records, and I would be like documenting everything possible so that other people will learn and see. And this is how we managed to expose this street occupation. And this is how, if you saw, there was like so many protests from so many countries, so many cities around the world, and they were protesting to like free Palestine, free Palestine, and all of that. Personally, like if it wasn't for Rihanna numbers, like I wouldn't have gone online in a live stream with Loki, and I wouldn't have like tens of people messaging me, and especially like after how the live ended. As I told you, like per moment took place, it was so close, so loud, everyone freaked out, and then because of lack of power my phone wasn't fully charged, and it turned off immediately, and I couldn't go back online, and a lot of people got concerned, and a lot of people were asking me, and right now a lot of people followed me, and a lot of people like proposed like, right, let's go online, let's go live, and I did that like with normal people, like especially from the UK, because basically that's where Loki is, but still. And I feel like yes, we managed to create this great organization. It is a project that served this Palestinian cause in many ways. As I told you, usually what we do, like our main thing is writing. So those people who want to learn more about Palestine, about Gaza, what's happening in Gaza, they could simply go to wearenotnumbers.org. That's wearenotnumbers.org, and that they would find a lot of stories, so many stories, and especially during these 11 like days in the war on Gaza, we produced so many stories. A lot of people wrote their personal perspectives about Jerusalem, about Gaza, and all of that, published that so people would learn more. And since I'm talking about like we are not numbers this way, of course you can always find us on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We always post there. We always try to keep people updated, even the situation in Gaza was really hard. Like the pressure was unbelievable, but yet we managed to work as a team and to keep going. If you want, you can subscribe to our newsletter in which we give updates on monthly basis. And for all people who always like ask me like, right, how can we help? How can we help? I always tell people like, yes, you can always help. Like you can share these stories with your families, with your friends, and your social circles. Let people learn more. Like let's educate the world about what's happening here. I mean, these stories are written directly by Palestinian news, especially in Gaza, specifically in Gaza. And of course, you could always donate to keep the project going because basically we use annual fundraising campaigns. And this year, because of COVID-19, unfortunately, we didn't reach our goal. But yes, a lot of people still donate through our website, which is a great thing. So basically, when you take this action, when you spread the word and you teach the word, that's how the word, supports Palestine, and that's how the word decides. Like, yes, like we need to stand with human rights. I mean, this is about our humanity. This is the human nature that we don't want other people to be killed. We don't want other people to be affected by this attack. And that's why a lot of people reach out to us and we are not numbers, which is great. They reach out to us now as the official youth voice in Gaza, and a lot of people, as I told you, they request speakers. From time to time, we get so many projects. Like mental health programs, because people do care. And there's like one small detail that I think I must say. Even though we are not number started in Gaza, but we are not number started to expand. And right now we have writers from the West Bank, from Jerusalem, from the occupied lands, and even from Palestinians in the diaspora, specifically in the Palestinian refugee camps in Lebanon. So I think the mission right here is very obvious, and what we do, I think a lot of people appreciate our work, which is sometimes so proud of. And yeah, I always encourage people, if you have any question, you can either email us or send us a message on like our social media accounts and website. And yeah, we're always happy to help and answer all your questions.
All right, thank you for telling us about that. That's so amazing, and we definitely want to support as an outlet however we can. Um, I just have one more question to ask you, Raed. What does the future look like, where Palestinians can live dignified, long, and safe lives? What would that look like?
Um, okay, personally, I thought about that a lot. The future. What does the future hold for us in Gaza? What does the future hold for us in Palestine? Um, wow, to be honest, it's really vague. Like, to be honest, I find it so hard to anticipate because we have like our main mission is to free Palestine. This is our main mission as a Palestinian people. Okay, our dream is to go back to our Palestine, our lands, our homes. If you ever ask a Palestinian where are you originally from, they're gonna tell you the name of the village or city that like our ancestors used to live in. Like personally, when people ask me, where are you from? I go like, I'm from a Palestinian village called Jibna. Okay, it is occupied now, but yeah, I am from there. I never forget about that. I will return there one day. At the same time, if you go ahead and ask an Australian receptor, where are you originally from? They're gonna be naming another country. They'll be like, oh, I'm from the US or I'm from Russia or from the UK. And they'll be like naming a lot of countries from all over the world. And this tells you one thing is that this land wasn't a land without a people. This land had a people, but this people, the Palestinian people, was exiled. Like we were just kicked out forcibly. I think a lot of people ask us about peace and do you think you can live in peace, like as if they don't get the fact that what we actually want is to live in peace. you know like personally, I want to live in a country called Palestine where I actually can go to Jerusalem to pray at Al-Aqsa. I want to go to the West Bank to visit my relatives there, especially my aunt, whom, by the way, I see once every 10 years or so.
Wow.
Yeah, like even though geographically we're so close, like by car, it's like 3 to 4 hours far away from here, but still I can never see her, and it requires like a very specific permit to see her, and it's really hard to get. And as I told you, like my entire life I saw her like twice. This is what I remember, and I'm telling you, I'm 23. So I think part of us is Palestinian people. Like, I don't want to live under this blockade on Gaza. You know, like I want to have the freedom of movement. Like I want to travel whenever I feel like I want to travel. A lot of people here miss out on their opportunities abroad because of the border, because it's closed most of the time. Where we talk about students who miss on their scholarships, talking about people who miss on job opportunities, and people who need medication who can't travel. Like personally, I can tell you about my mother who was in Gaza, and she stayed here for like she was sick since 2014, and we couldn't travel for medication until last year. You know, like that's over 10 years that we were trying to get her out of Gaza for medication, but we failed because the borders are always closed. So I feel like we're not asking for too much here. We're asking for human rights. You know, we're just asking for a fair life. Like I demand to have power 24/7. You know, like I don't have to deal with power cuts. I don't have to deal with water cuts. You know, during war, we would get water for like 2 to 3 hours every 3 to 4 days. You know, so like whenever I have power, like I'm not sure, like should I be working? Should I be talking to people, educating them about Gaza, or should I be working on like our water issue and filling the water tanks with water and all of that? You know, I think like every time that I talk about human rights, like freedom of expression, for instance, or so many other basic human rights, like I want to have clean water to drink. Do you know that water in Gaza is totally unhealthy? Like this is unhealthy. The water I'm drinking right now, it's not healthy. And like I could go on and on and on. But the fact is, I don't actually think it's gonna be easy for us to have a country, basically because there's an occupation. When we talk about occupation, the word occupation means there's an oppressor, and this oppressor has been oppressing us for over 70 years. I mean, I'm telling you, last week was the anniversary of our Palestinian Nakba. It was the 73rd anniversary, and during which like they were just doing what they've been doing all that time, you know, just killing us, arresting us, shooting us, bombing us, and taking our homes and all of that. So no, I don't think it's easy. But at the same time, I want to be optimistic about the future. And I want to think about how the entire world right now is taking action. And a lot of people are protesting. A lot of people are chanting "Free, free Palestine." It gives me hope, to be honest. And I think this is a first. This is the first time in our history that we have this much like support and love and solidarity and all of that, you know, because people are finally seeing it for what it is. And I think for me, even if I were to talk to like people and explain like stories from Gaza or West Bank or whatever right now, it would be so much easier because so many things are documented. Like sometimes I feel like I wouldn't even have to bother and talk about all of that myself because there already are like hundreds of podcasts and TV shows that people since have participated in, and you can simply just click on the hashtag Gaza under attack and see it all yourself. Like right now, like I wouldn't have to go and search on Google footage of Gaza under attack. You know, like I would simply go to any social media platform and just click on Gaza under attack. Like if you want to see how it is like for Gaza to be under attack, take a look at these children. They're being dragged it from under the rubble. Most of them are dead. Let's hear some stories. You know, we are not numbers wrote so many stories. Personally, as I told, I was working on social media, and I wrote a lot of stories. Like this guy who lost his fiance, or this mother who lost her child, or this guy who had to lose his mother and brother at the same time. They were like praying Al Fajr, and they were like got bombed out of nowhere. Out of nowhere, they're just worshiping God. Or let's talk about like this entire family that was massacred. Like who survived? Like one person survived, you know, like one child. And this massacre like happened many times to many families during the past 11 days. Like, can you imagine an entire family would be erased like from history, from existence, like out of nowhere? And if you take a look at that, maybe because as I'm telling you, like I was following up with all these stories, like this family would be literally like sitting in one room for what reason? And that's really sad because if we die, we want to die together. and that's the case for most of films here. And of course, like I would always be teaching the word more. Like, do you know that most of us during the war have our things packed, like have our IDs, have our documents, important documents, and everything. Everything's documented and everything that's really important. And if there's like money or wherever, we have them all packed in backpacks, okay? And we're putting them right next to the door so that in case we get bombed out of nowhere, we would have to grab the bag and leave immediately. This is in Nakba. We're talking about women when they have to sleep in their hijab so that if they get bombed, they wouldn't be found like exposed. This is a part of our Islamic tradition, you know? And those details, yeah, they're endless. They could go on and on and on. I can tell all about that, like even after the war, like people think, oh, there's ceasefire, it's over. It's not. It's not over. Actually, we still have to deal with the psychological effects. First, personally, like I just tweeted last night. Um, Actually, this very morning, it was 3:30 a.m. and I was in my room, and it's like an illusion in my head. It's like hallucinating. It's like me hallucinating that there's like a sound of bombardment. Like I know, like it stopped. I know that for a fact, but it's still in my head, and I could hear it. Like I could hear it in my head. And when I actually posted that, I tweeted it on Twitter, and I also posted it on Facebook, and I had other people saying, "Yes, me too." And last night also, my nephew was here. My sister was sleeping at our place, and he woke up twice last night because he was like having nightmares. Personally, I feel like not only psychologically I'm being affected, but also physically. Like because I had to be sitting for over 12 hours working on social media and working on like my social, like my outreach work and coordination, all those interviews. I felt like my back is killing me. It is still killing me right now. My back hurts so much. I'm not recovered. And during the past 2 days, like ever since they announced and declared that there's gonna be ceasefire, I've been trying to sleep because yes, like right now, like during the 11 day attack on Gaza, I could barely sleep. Like I would sleep in for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and I could barely eat as well. Like I'm telling you, like the first 5 days, of the attack on Gaza, I wouldn't be able to eat. And my mother, she would come to me because she's a mother, and she'd be telling me like, "Right, you're working so hard. You should eat something." I'm like, how am I supposed to eat knowing that there are people out there that are being killed and they're being massacred? I lost appetite, and I would be living on coffee and tea. Like all day long, I'd be eating, like drinking coffee and tea, and I could eat like piece of chocolate or biscuit, and that's it. On the sixth day, I felt like I collapsed because I felt like my body couldn't just go on and on. And like ever since I decided to go for one meal a day just to be active because I need it. Right now, I'm talking to you, and I'm sure you can see it in my face that I'm still tired. It's really obvious right now. I'm looking at myself, I'm looking at the black circles right here under my eyes. I've been exposing my eyes to screens like 20 hours a day. You know, like I'm moving from my laptop. When it turns off, I move to my smartphone. When it turns off, I move to my tablet because I have to be there online as much as possible because this is a part of my duty. It's a part of my job. And these details, these simple details that no one ever tells you about, like they don't just go in a blind of an eye and then that's it. No, I mean in a blink of an eye. But no, it doesn't work like that. Yes, there is this fire, but do you think that one day it's gonna be easy for us to be free? Like yes, free Gaza, free Palestine, but I don't think it's gonna be free. I know that there's gonna have to be hundreds or even thousands of Palestinians who are gonna be killed for us to have a free state. I'm not advocating for violence. I really hate violence. I already lost so many people during this 11-day attack on Gaza. I lost my teacher, my mathematics teacher, who, by the way, lives close to me. He's right here, like in my area. And I lost him, and I was so shocked. 2014, I lost my best friend. By the way, in 2014, when I lost one of my childhood best friends, his entire family was massacred except for his one brother.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I that bombardment happened at 4 or 5 a.m. and I was crying and I was in tears the whole time, and like it still aches me. So no, I don't want to lose more people. Like I got super emotional when I was online in the live stream with Loki and AMP, just because I was saying that a lot of people ask me, right, what scares you the most? And I wouldn't say getting killed. You know, I always say losing someone that I love. And basically, this thought of me, because I witnessed many of my friends had to evacuate their homes during this attack on Gaza. You know, some of them, their homes literally got bombed. You know, and they're homeless now. And I always think like, oh my God, how is it gonna be like when life is supposed to go back to normal and my friend is not there anymore? He is killed or she is killed. How am I supposed to cope with that? You know, that's when I got emotional and felt like that was like the first time that I get emotional online, and people had to see it. And I don't like to look weak. I don't like to look like super emotional. But yes, this is the situation here. A lot of people a lot of people, like I know, well, when we free Palestine, I know it didn't happen for a fact, but I also know it's gonna cost us a lot. I'm not sure how it's gonna happen. I don't know, but I think for Gaza to break the blockade on it, it's not gonna be easy. I know for us to be able to go to Jerusalem, it's not gonna be easy, you know. But still, I think, what is the point of living if we're not living freely, you know? Like right now there is ceasefire. Okay, yes, I'm so happy that the bombardments on Gaza are stopped at the meantime. I mean, they're not stopped, they're like paused. I have to begin, they're paused, you know. Like I know at some point in the future it could be really really close, they're gonna bomb us again. I know that for a fact, you know. But okay, we have our ceasefire, but here I am going back to my life, my daily life under the blockade. You know, I still can travel. I still have issues with power and internet and water and all of that. Most people are poor here. There are not like a lot of opportunities, and the situation is getting worse and worse and worse. You know, so like, what is the point of living all of this? You know, I feel like, and this is something I'm saying for the first time, is they make our lives so much worse during wars and attacks, so that we would totally settle for a peaceful life under the blockade. Like they would make us feel like, oh, for me to have 8 hours of power a day, that's awesome. You know, and that is the case, to be and honest. I'm not gonna lie. People in Gaza are so happy to have power 8 hours for 8 hours. That's like the most that we can get, you know. And we're so happy with it because we're used to getting it for 6 or 4 hours a day. And they make us feel like, oh, like you should be grateful that we're not bombing you. Like, yes, live under the blockade, yes, live in Gaza, the biggest open air prison in the entire world, and you should be happy about it that we're not gonna bomb your home for now. We're not gonna kill you for now. We're not gonna kill your family or your friends for now. So live and be happy and shut up. This is how I feel that they make us like feel personally. So I feel like, oh, during like the normal days, like after the war, you know, like after the vicious attack on Gaza now, I feel like, wow, like I'm so grateful that I can sleep again, you know, because during those 11 days I couldn't sleep at all. I feel like I totally forget about my biggest dreams, especially for me as an ambitious guy. You know, I forget about so many things. Like I forget about, oh, my dream of traveling around the world and being able to come and visit my family anytime I want. Because no, now I can sleep for like 6 hours a day without having to wake up to a loud bombardment near my home. You know, and they make us feel like, oh, so like even if I were to travel and leave Gaza, like I wouldn't be able to come back and visit my family. Like I have two sisters in Turkey, and we haven't seen them in years, and they can't come back to Gaza. And even if they try to do and they come back, they wouldn't be able to return to Turkey. One of them is getting her MBA, and the other one is settling down there. So like it's gonna be totally risky. Like you have no idea how many people lost their scholarships because they got stuck in Gaza. They thought they could visit their families. Personally, I got stuck in Egypt, by the way. I got stuck in Egypt for 3 months.
Wow.
I took my mother. Yeah, for 3 months. I took my mother there. I was accompanying her for medication. She had an operation in her head and her brain, and it was really complicated. Anyways, we've been trying to get her that medical transfer for what? For about 14 years, like she no for 13 years, exactly, for 13 years. She had her illness, it's something in the brain, like with the nerves, in 2007, and we failed to get her a medical transfer even though she needed it, and she had to be in pain all those years, and that affected my family so badly. And last year, we managed to get her that medical transfer finally after 13 years. And I went to Egypt and we got stuck in Egypt for 3 months. And I really wanted to come back to Gaza. I could have lost my job. It costed me so much money to be in Egypt, to the point that I actually had to ask some friends, and of course, not from Gaza, from like the US, to help me with that. And I had to, like, I was staying at my aunt's place in Egypt, which is also like another relative that I don't get to see at all. Like I barely do. Like she comes and visits us like every once in a very long time. And I wanted to return to Gaza, but I couldn't, simply because the borders are closed. And what's bad is that, oh my God, my battery is running out. Okay, what's bad is that unfortunately, this is always the case. So
Mm. No worries.
I'm sorry, but my laptop is like 14%, and I know for a fact that it's gonna turn off in like 2 minutes or so. So, oh my God, this is one of the problems that we have. I don't have power right now. I'm
Yeah.
using LED lights, by the way, and my laptop, even though it is charged, but
Hmm.
there we go. So this is my life under blockade. And right now, after it turns off, where am I gonna go? Just go to my regular life under the blockade. No internet, no laptop, no nothing. So
Raid, thank you so much for giving us your perspective and for giving us your time. I'm so grateful. I really appreciate what you're doing, and if there's any way that I can help, let me know, and hopefully we can have a conversation again sometime.
yeah, definitely. One last thing I want to say, because I always say this at the end of every time that I go talk to someone. I invite all people to follow the BDS movement. You have to boycott Israeli products, please, because a part of that goes to the Israeli army, and they use that money to kill us. So please, BDS movement. Please, everyone, boycott Israeli products, and people in the US, please take action, because your taxes pay like
Yes.
$3.8 billion from it
Yes.
goes to Israel. So please take action. And personally, I would like to thank you so much for having me with you. I'm gonna have to actually email you again, because I'm really like into podcasting, and I would love to take advice from you. So that would be really great. Thank you so much. And right now my laptop is gonna turn off any second. So let's end this probably. Thank you guys so much. I'm sending you all love and support from Gaza, from Palestine. Free Palestine. Thank you.
Yes. Much love, Raid. Have a good one. Thanks again.
Thank you, Zach.
Talk to you soon. Bye bye.
Bye.